You've been in the middle of this before. You mentioned previous budget battles and this item coming up before. And so as someone with so much experience in this, and do you have a timetable? Do you see, I guess my question is, do you see a special session here on this issue? Or do you have a timetable where you can kind of anticipate what kind of time frame we're looking at for a budget in the Senate?
You know, Chris, as soon as I tell you that I've done this before,
Sure.
This is not my first rodeo,
Right.
It's going to come back
Yeah.
and just bite me. So I'm a little reluctant
Yeah.
on doing that. But we've got enough time in the next 55 days to do this. Again, we're going through, we're still analyzing programs in different agencies. We don't want to spend too little and not provide the essential services. We certainly don't want to spend too much. The Senate's going to have a large cut from current spending,
Right.
both on state dollars and federal dollars. That's a given. But we want to make sure that we adequately, because that's the word in the Constitution, fund our public education. And right now, the Senate draft, let me say it differently. Our subcommittee in our Senate Finance Committee, our subcommittee on public education just voted out a recommended amount of money that would fund our foundation school program, the formula that's going to our schools at the same amount that they're receiving right now, same amount plus $1.5 billion to cover the enrollment growth. Now, I would think superintendents would think that's a victory. They're frustratingly saying, no, that doesn't cover $2 billion a year of local school property taxes being down. Hey, we can't do anything about that.
Right.
All right. So if we can get our schools to the same amount of the appropriation for the next 2 years as they have right now, and give them $1.5 billion to cover maybe $2 billion worth of their enrollment growth. And we've seen over the last several months that our local school property values are firming. The comptroller just gave us, was it $300 or $400 million increase in local school property values. So those values are going to come back for the schools. I think that's a huge effort during tough times.
It's no secret that federal dollars are also, I mean, there's like a $14 trillion federal deficit. How much anticipation, how much planning and thought goes into federal dollars drying up?
Well, most of the federal dollars that are triggered in any state budget are matching dollars. For instance, in the 2009 session on Medicaid, the Obama administration changed their formula and covered 70 cents out of every dollar in the state's 30. Now, just 6 months ago, they reversed that and they lowered it to 52 cents, 48 cents. I'm sorry, 58 cents, 42 cents. So we've had to go from 30% of every dollar to 42%, and that's billions of dollars for a state like Texas. But as we go through this exercise, we're going to free up, maybe $10 billion of federal money. More money than the U.S. Senate was talking about cutting the budget just a couple of weeks ago.
How about the relationship with the House and Senate? Give viewers that are watching Session 11 a feel of, I mean, you know the feel. You know how the House and the Senate and the relationships and how they work together. Give us a feel of how the session's going.
Well, I think the session is going pretty well. There's a new dynamic. You've got so many new members, 37 members, and a lot of those members are real concerned about cutting. And listen, David Dewhurst over the last 9 years has 5 times out of 9 years either cut spending or lowered taxes. So I got it. I am a fiscal conservative. But if you're in a range on a cut, let's make sure that we don't embarrass ourselves. Let's make sure we do this right, because I think you've got to govern intelligently, and that's what may be missing here.
Tough to get. Do you see it tough to get the House Tea Party members on board with no cuts or maybe increases in education?
No, I think it's just a matter of I've been living by the same principles that the Tea Party has since the Tea Party was formed, and that is to keep spending as low as possible, to reduce your taxes, to have free market reforms. So that doesn't bother me at all, but I think it's just information.
Yeah.
We need to reach out, we need to talk to all the members in the House, in the Senate, make sure that we're on the same page.
How about structural deficit? Be able to fix it in the next session? Planned cuts a permanent move?
Well, when we did school finance,
Yeah.
when we passed school finance in May of 2006, we had a good bill. The schools liked our bill. They were pleased with it. But going along with that, where we cut local school property taxes for businesses and individuals by a third, but for businesses and individuals from $1.50 down to $1, came a new franchise tax. And the Sharp Commission had recommended that. And I told the members, I told the press, I told the members at the time, this bill is not going to bring in $6.25 billion. Just not going to do it. When the state picked up, the liability that businesses and individuals had of $7 billion a year. So instead of being short, $500, $750 million a year, at times 2 for the biennium, the business taxes has been coming in at 3.5, 3.75, and so we've developed now a structural shortfall each biennium of about $2 billion a year, $4 billion.
Speaking of shortfalls coming, some will say, hey, we have this gambling legislation. Let's look at the casinos and the slots at racetracks and as a new stream of revenue, a new form of revenue, and you have I believe stated not necessarily supporting the casinos and the gambling legislation. The question is that an issue that we can overlook? Is it something that some will call a potential moneymaker that needs a really close look?
Well, I personally, again, I'm talking about just myself, haven't wanted to see an expansion of gambling from on the racetracks where it is now. I mean, there's some simulcast on our racetracks. But I think the main thing is, where are our members? Where are the House members and where are the senators? And so I'm in the process of talking to them right now. There's a little bit more interest. I'm not sure that, I don't know. I don't know if there are 100 votes in the House and 21 votes in the Senate. So, I'm personally opposed to the expansion of the footprint. There may be some more interest in that, but I'm not sure that we're going to reach a 2/3 majority in both houses.
Yeah, I'm not, and we certainly don't want a committal at this stage of the game from you, and wouldn't put you in that position. Do you think it's something that is getting a closer look now?
Well, I think some members in the Senate, some members of the House are taking a look at it, but again, it's still early. I think we have to see where we are. Can we meet our obligations and still make sure that we're not spending so much, Chris, that we hit a cliff in 2013 and we're back in this shape. See, keep in mind, virtually every state out there was going through budget shortfalls in 2008. If some weren't, they all were in 2009. They were facing this. They all were in 2010. I just want this to be one time. We come in 2011, we balance our budget, we face a revenue shortfall, we reduce our spending, we save enough money in the rainy day fund so that we're fine. We're great shape going forward. And again, because our revenues are increasing.
Let's switch gears. How about redistricting? How's that fight shaping up? Do you see roadblocks with the state and congressional maps?
We're working independently. In the Senate, we're drawing maps. In the House, they're drawing maps. I haven't had a chance to take a look at the House maps, but I think the House will agree on a map for themselves. I think the Senate will agree on a map for themselves. I think we'll agree on a map for the State Board of Education. And we'll just have to wait and see. I'm optimistic, but I don't know yet. And I hope that we can reach an agreement on a map for Congress.